Princess in Waiting by Meg Cabot. Thursday, January 1, midnight. Royal Genovian Bedchamber. My New Year's Resolutions by Princess Amelia Mignonet Grimaldi Thermopolis Rinaldo. Age 14 years and 8 months. 1. I will stop biting my fingernails, including the fake ones. 2. I will stop lying. Grandmere knows when I am lying anyway, thanks to my traitorous nostrils, which flare every time I tell a fib. So it's not like there's even a point in trying to be less than truthful. 3. I will never veer from the prepared script while delivering a televised address to the Genovian public. 4. I will stop accidentally saying merde in front of the ladies in waiting. 5. I will stop asking Francois, my Genovian bodyguard, to teach me French swear words. 6. I will apologize to the Genovian Olive Growers Association for that thing with the pits. 7. I will apologize to the royal chef for slipping Grandmere's dog that slice of foie gras, even though I have told the palace kitchen repeatedly that I do not eat liver. 8. I will stop lecturing the Royal Genovian Press Corps on the evils of smoking. If they all wish to develop lung cancer, that is their prerogative. 9. I will achieve self-actualization. 10. I will stop thinking so much about Michael Moskowitz. Oh wait, it's okay for me to think about Michael Moskowitz because he is my boyfriend now. MT plus MM equals true love forever. Friday, January 2, 2 p.m. Royal Genovian Parliament. You know, I am supposed to be on vacation. Seriously. I mean, this is my winter break. I am supposed to be having fun, mentally recharging for the coming semester, which is not going to be easy, as I will be moving on to Algebra 2, not to mention health and safety class. Everybody at school was all, "Oh, you're so lucky you get to spend Christmas in a castle being waited hand on foot." Well, first of all, there is nothing so great about living in a castle, because guess what? Castles are totally old. And yeah, it's not like this one was built in 4 AD or whenever it was my ancestress, Princess Rosagunde, first became ruler of Genovia. But it was still built in like the 1600s. And let me tell you what they didn't have in the 1600s. 1. Cable. 2. DSL. 3. Toilets. Which is not to say there isn't a satellite dish now. But hello, this is my dad's place. The only channels he has got programmed are like CNN, CNN Financial News, and the Golf Channel. Where is MTV2, I ask you? Where is the Lifetime movie channel for women? Not that it matters, because I am spending all my time being run off my feet. It isn't as if I ever even get a free moment to pick up a remote and go, oh I wonder if there's a Tracy Gold movie on. Oh yeah, and the toilets? Let me just tell you that back in the 1600s, they didn't know so much about sewage. So now, 400 years later, if you push one square too much toilet paper in the bowl and try to flush, you create a mini indoor tsunami. So that's it. That is my life in Genovia. Every other kid I know is spending his or her vacation in Aspen skiing or in Miami getting tanned. But me? What am I doing for my winter break? Well, here are the highlights from the new date book Grandmere gave me for Christmas. What girl wouldn't love to get a date book for Christmas? Of what I have done so far. Sunday, December 21. Royal Daily Schedule. Arrived in Genovia due to large bagful of skittles consumed on flight over, almost barfed on official Genovian welcome committee who came to airport to greet me as I disembarked from the plane. 1 full day since I last saw Michael. Tried calling him at his grandparents' house in Boca Raton, where the Moscovites have gone for winter break, but no one answered, perhaps because of time difference, Genovia being 6 hours ahead of Florida. Monday, December 22. Royal Daily Schedule. While touring naval cruiser, the Prince Philippe tripped over anchor, accidentally knocking Admiral Papin into the Genovian harbor. He was okay, though. They fished him out with a harpoon. But why am I the only one in this country who thinks pollution is an important issue? If people are going to dock their yachts in the Genovian harbor, they really ought to pay attention to what they are throwing overboard. I mean, porpoises get their noses stuck in those plastic six-pack holders all the time, and then they starve to death because they can't open their mouths to eat. All people have to do is snip the loops before they throw the holders out, and everything would be fine. Well, all right, not everything, since you shouldn't be throwing trash overboard in the first place. I simply cannot stand idly by while helpless sea creatures are being abused by a bunch of Bain de Soleil addicts in search of that perfect Saint Tropez tan. 2 days since last saw Michael. Tried calling him twice. First time, no answer. Second time, Michael's grandmother answered and said I had just missed him, as Michael had gone to the pharmacy to pick up his grandfather's prescription foot powder. This is so like him, always thinking of others before himself. Tuesday, December 23. Royal Daily Schedule. At breakfast with Genovian Olive Growers Association, mentioned unseasonable drought-afflicting Mediterranean area must be the pits. No one seemed to think this joke particularly amusing, particularly members of Olive Growers Association. 3 days since last saw Michael. No time to call due to pet controversy. Wednesday, December 24. Royal Daily Schedule. Gave televised Christmas Eve greeting to Genovian public. Strayed somewhat from prepared speech by mentioning amount of revenue generated in 5 boroughs of New York City by parking meters, and expressed belief that installing parking meters in Genovia would contribute greatly to national economy, while also discouraging cheap skate day trippers from venturing across our border. Still have no idea why Grandmere was so mad about the whole thing. New York City parking meters are not hideously ugly blights on landscape. Most of the time, I never even noticed them all. 4 days SLSM since last saw Michael. Thursday, December 25, Christmas. Royal Daily Schedule. Spoke to Michael at last. Was finally able to get through to him. Conversation somewhat stilted, however, as my father, grandmother, and cousin Rene were all in room from which I was calling, and Michael's parents, grandparents, and sister were in room in which he received call. He asked me if I got anything good for Christmas, and I said no, nothing but a date book and a scepter. What I wanted was a cell phone. Asked Michael if he got anything good for Hanukkah, and he said no, nothing but a color printer, which is still better than what I got, if you ask me, although scepter excellent for pushing back cuticles. I am so relieved that Michael hasn't forgotten all about me. I know my boyfriend is vastly superior to all the other members of his species. Guys, I mean. But everyone knows that guys are like dogs. Their short-term memory is completely nil. You tell them your favorite fictional character is Xena, warrior princess, and next thing you know, they are going on about how your favorite fictional character is Zika of Telemundo. Boys just don't know any better, on account of how their brains are too filled up with stuff about modems and Star Trek Voyager and Green Day and all. Michael is no exception to this rule. Oh, I know he is co-valedictorian of his class and got a perfect score on his SATs and was accepted early decision to one of the most prestigious universities in the country. But you know it took him about 5 million years even to admit he liked me. And that was only after I'd sent him all these anonymous love letters, which turned out not to be so anonymous because he fully knew it was me the whole time, thanks to all of my friends, including his little sister, having such exceptionally large mouths. But whatever, I'm just saying, 5 days is a long time to go without a word from your one true love. I mean, Tina Hakim Baba's boyfriend. Dave Farouk Al-Abbar, sometimes goes that long without calling her, and Tina always becomes convinced that Dave's met a girl who is better than she is. She even confronted him about it once, telling him that she loved him and that it hurt her when he didn't call, which only caused him not to call anymore, since Dave turns out to be commitment phobic. It would be very easy for Michael to meet a girl who is better than me. I mean, there must be millions of girls out there who have things actually going for them, aside from being a princess, and who don't have to spend their holidays cooped up in a palace with their crazy grandma and her freakish hairless toy poodle. And even though when Tina starts insisting Dave's dumping her, and we all go, "Oh, he's not," I think I am starting to know how she feels. Talked to Mom and Mr. Giannini. They are both doing fine, although my mom still won't let the doctor tell her what it is she's having, a boy or a girl. Mom says she doesn't want to know, since if it's a boy she won't push due to not wanting to bring another Y-chromosomed oppressor into the world. Mr. G says that is just the hormones talking, but I'm not so sure. My mom can be pretty anti-Y chromosome when she puts her mind to it. They put Fat Louie up to the phone so I could wish him a Merry Christmas, and he growled with annoyance, so I know he is doing fine as well. 5 DSLSM Friday, December 26. Royal Daily Schedule. Forced to watch father and cousin Rene play in charity golf tournament against Tiger Woods. Tiger won, no surprise, as Dad is middle-aged and Prince Rene confessed to having attended grappa tasting party the night before. Only sport more boring than golf is polo. Going to be forced to watch Dad and cousin Rene play that next month, although technically anyway, Rene is barely even my cousin. He's like 1100 times removed. And even though he is a prince, he is no longer allowed by Italian law to set foot in his native land, due to the socialists running all members of the Italian royal family out of town. Poor Rene's ancestral palace now belongs to a famous shoe designer, who has turned it into a resort for wealthy Americans to come for the weekend and make their own pasta and drink 200-year-old balsamic vinegar. Rene doesn't seem to mind, though, because here in Genovia everyone still calls him His Highness Prince Rene, and he's extended every privilege given a member of a royal household. Still, just because Rene is 4 years older than me, and a prince and a freshman at some French business school, doesn't mean he has the right to patronize me. I mean, I believe gambling is morally wrong, and the fact that Rene spends so many hours at the roulette wheel instead of utilizing his time in a more productive fashion irks me. I mentioned this to him. It just seems to me that Rene needs to realize there is more to life than racing around in his Alfa Romeo, or swimming in the palace indoor pool wearing nothing but one of those little black speedos which are very stylish here in Europe. I asked my dad to please, for the love of all that is holy, stick to trunks, which, thankfully, he has. And okay, Rene just laughed at me. But at least I can rest easy knowing I have done everything I can to show one extremely self-absorbed prince the error of his profligate ways. 6DLSLSM Saturday, December 27. Royal Daily Schedule. Very depressing day, as 25th anniversary of grandpa's death. Had to hang wreath on grave, wear black veil, etc. Veil stuck to lip gloss, could not get off by blowing, finally had to pull it off, causing hat to be swept by wind into Genovian harbour. Prince Rene fished it out with the help of some friendly topless sunbathers, but hat will clearly never be the same. 7DSLSM Sunday, December 28. Royal Daily Schedule. Prince Rene was caught entertaining friendly topless sunbathers in pool house. Major ballistics from Dad, who thinks at 18 Rene should be aware that he has a reputation for being Prince William of the continent, minus the crown jewels, as Rene's side of the family have only name and not fortune to go with it anymore, and that those girls were only using him. Rene says he doesn't mind being used in that fashion, and if he doesn't mind, why should Dad? This only made my dad madder, however. Should have warned Rene it isn't wise to antagonize Dad when vein in center of forehead is throbbing, but there was no time. Tried calling Michael. Got busy signal for 4 hours. He must have been online. Would have emailed him, but only computers in palace with internet access in administrative offices, and doors were closed. Also locked. 8DSLSM Monday, December 29. Royal Daily Schedule. Met with Genovian casino operators. Was discouraged by their insistence on maintaining valet parking for their patrons. Explained substantial increase in revenue generated by parking meters, but was rebuffed. Asked Dad for own key to administrative offices, so that I can email Michael whenever I want, but he rebuffed me too, due to Rene having been caught in administrative offices last week photocopying his nether region. Assured Dad I would never do something this asinine, not being homeless speedo-wearing prince filled with testosterone, but argument clearly fell on deaf ears. 9 days since I last saw Michael, and I think I am going insane. Tuesday, December 30th. Royal Daily Schedule. Message from Michael via Palace phone operators. Says, miss you, will try to call at Bonne Nuit. asked palace operators if they are sure this is what Michael said, and they insist it was, except this message makes no sense. Bonne nuit means good night. It is not a time. Possibly there is word in Clinton that sounds like bonne nuit. No time to call Michael myself, however, as was encompassed all day long with Genovian Minister of Defence, learning what to do in unlikely case of military incursion by hostile enemy forces. 10D SLSM. Wednesday, December 31st. Royal Daily Schedule. Posed for royal portrait. Was instructed not to move, and especially not to smile. Was very hard not to, however, as Rommel, Grandmare's toy poodle, was wandering around with one of those plastic cones around his head so he won't lick away what is left of his fur. Rommel is the only dog I know with an obsessive-compulsive disorder that is causing him to lick himself bald. The American vets all thought Rommel's hair loss was due to allergies. Then, when we got to Genovia, the royal vet was all, "Alors, it is OCD." I do not like to make fun of the plight of any four-legged creature, but Rommel was funny. The way he had lost his peripheral vision and kept bumping into suits of armor and stuff. Royal portrait painter says he despairs of me. Let me out early to attend palace New Year's party. Was big let down due to not having Michael there to kiss at midnight. Tried calling him, but Moskowitz must have been out at some beach or pool party, as no one answered. You know what they have a lot of in Florida? Beach and pool parties. You know who goes to beach and pool parties? Girls in bikinis. Like the girls from that movie, Blue Crush. Like that one, Kate Bosworth, who had the one blue eye and the one brown eye and the tiny shorts. Yeah, that one. How is anyone supposed to compete against a surfer girl with one blue eye and one brown eye, I'd like to know? Rene tried to kiss me at midnight, but I told him to go kiss Grandmere instead. He had had so much champagne, he actually did it. Grandmere hit him with a decorative swan carved from pineapple. 11DSLSM. Thursday, January 1. Royal Daily Schedule. Got email from Michael. Rene stole key to administrative offices because he said he had to look some things up on Netscape. He was fully scoring people on Are You Hot or Not? I caught him. And I happened to be walking by on my way to the indoor palace pool, so I demanded to be let in. Rene had too big of a headache from all the champagne he drank last night to fight me on the matter. So I got online and there was this email from Michael. It turns out he was not at a party with Kate Bosworth-like girls at last night. Mia, he wrote. Sorry to have missed your call. I was at my grandparents' retirement complex's New Year's bash. They played Ricky Martin and thought they were on the cutting edge. Didn't you get my message? Well, anyway, Happy New Year, and I really miss you and all of that. P.S. Are they keeping you locked in a tower over there or what? Because even prisoners get phone privileges. Am I going to have to come to Genovia and climb up your hair to get you out or something? Has there ever been a more romantic note than this? He really misses me and all of that. And you know what all of that means? Love, right? Isn't that what all of that means? Made mistake of asking Rene. He said a man who isn't willing to put his true feelings for a woman down on a paper isn't a true man at all. I told him it wasn't paper, just email, which is different, isn't it? Spent all day visiting patients at Genovian General Hospital. Very depressing, not because of patients, but because of the clown that the hospital hired to cheer up the sick children. Hate clowns. Clowns very scary to me ever since I read that Stephen King book, It, which was made into a TV movie starring that guy from The Waltons. It is awful the way writers can take a perfectly innocent thing like a clown and turn it into a vessel of evil. Had to spend entire time in hospital dodging clown just in case he was spawn of Satan. 12 DSLSM. And now here I am on January 2, just sitting in on a session of the Royal Genovian Parliament pretending to be paying attention while these really old guys in wigs go on and on about parking. And now, here I am on January 2, just sitting in on a session of the Royal Genovian Parliament pretending to be paying attention while these really old guys in wigs go on and on about parking, which I realize is fully my own fault. I mean, if I had never opened my mouth about the whole parking meter thing in the first place, none of this would be happening. But how could they not know that if we don't charge for parking, it will just encourage more people to drive over the French and Italian borders instead of taking the train, clogging up Genovia's already very busy streets and causing yet more strain on our already deteriorating infrastructure. And I guess I should be flattered that they are taking my suggestion so seriously. I mean, yeah, I am the Princess of Genovia, but what do I know? Just because I am of royal birth and happen to be in the gifted and talented program at Albert Einstein High School does not mean that I am actually gifted or talented. In fact, the opposite is true. I am clearly not gifted. Being average in just about every category you could name, with the possible exception of foot size, in which I am somewhat over-endowed, and I have no talents to speak of. In fact, I was put into gifted and talented class only because I was flunking algebra and everyone decided I needed an extra period in which to study. So really, if you think about it, it is very kind of the members of the Genovian Parliament to listen to anything I have to say. But I can't really feel very grateful to them considering that every moment I spend here is another moment I am forced to spend away from my one true love. I mean, it has been 13 days and 8 hours since I last saw Michael. That is nearly 2 weeks, and during that entire time I have only spoken to him once by phone, due to the time difference between here and the US and my unfair, entirely unrealistic schedule of duties. I mean, where in my grueling schedule am I supposed to find time to call my boyfriend? Where? I am telling you, it is enough to make even a nearly 15-year-old girl weep. The way the fates are working against Michael and me, I have not even had time to shop for his birthday, which is in 3 days. I have only been his girlfriend for 13 days and already I am letting him down. Well, he will just have to get in line. According to Grandmere, who should know, I am letting everyone down. Michael, the Genovian people, my dad, her, you name it. I really don't get it. I mean, they're only parking meters for crying out loud. 13 days, 19 hours since I last saw Michael. Saturday, January 3rd. Royal Daily Schedule. 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Breakfast with Genovian Olympic equestrian team. I really have nothing against horsey people, because horses are totally cool. But what does the palace kitchen staff have against ketchup? Seriously, ever since I gave up on the no dairy egg thing, on account of I can't live without cheese, and McDonald's has started treating the hens that laid the eggs for their egg McMuffins humanely. I like nothing better than an egg and cheese omelette for breakfast, but how can I enjoy it without ketchup? Even when I come back to Genovia next time, I am fully bringing a bottle of Heinz with me. 9:30 a.m. to noon. Dedicate new modern wing of Royal Genovian Museum of Art. Hello, I paint better than some of these dudes, and I am completely talentless. At least they put one of my mom's painting in there. Portrait of the artist's daughter at age 5 refusing to eat hot dogs. So that's okay. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Lunch with Genovian ambassador to Japan. Domo arigato. 2:30 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. Sit-in on meeting of Genovian Parliament. Again? Spent entire session thinking about Michael. When Michael smiles, sometimes one corner of his mouth goes up higher than the other. Also, he has extremely nice lips and very nice dark eyes. Eyes that can see to the depths of my soul. I miss him so much. This sucks. I should call Amnesty International. It is cruel and unusual punishment to keep me from the man I love for so long. 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Tea with Genovian Historical Society. They actually had a lot of very interesting things to say about some of my relatives, It was too bad Prince Rene was in Monte Carlo buying a new polo pony. He might have learned a thing or two. 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Formal dinner with members of Genovian Trade Association. Okay, Rene was lucky to miss this. 14 DSLSM. I don't think I'll be able to stand this much longer. Poem for MM. Across the deep blue shining sea is Michael far away from me. But he doesn't seem so far away, though I haven't seen him for 14 days, because in my heart Michael stays, and there he'll beat forever, always. I can see I'm going to have to work harder if I'm to come up with a fitting tribute to my love. Sunday, January 4th. Royal Daily Schedule. 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Mass in Royal Genovian Chapel. I thought going to church was supposed to fill you with a sense of spiritual well-being and succor, but all I feel is sleepy. 10:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Outing with Monaco's royal family, Royal Genovian Zach. Why am I the least tan person in Genovia? And what is up with Rene and the Speedos? I mean, you can totally tell he thinks he's all that. And all those girls screaming his name on the dock just encourage him. I wonder if they'd still be so crazy about him if someone told them that I caught Rene singing an Enrique Iglesias song in front of the mirrored wall in the reception room, using my scepter as a pretend microphone. 4:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. Princess lessons with Grandmere. Even in Genovia it doesn't end. As if I don't totally get why everybody is so mad about the whole speech thing. I mean, I have already sworn I will never again veer from the prepared script while addressing the Genovian populace. Why does she have to keep harping? 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Formal dinner with Prime Minister of France and his family. Rene disappeared for 4 hours with the Prime Minister's 20-year-old daughter. They said they just went to play roulette, but if that's true, why were they smirking so much when they got back? If Rene doesn't vote it, he is going to have a little prince to look out for, sooner than he thinks. 5DSLSM. Tried to call him twice today. Michael's grandmother answered the first time and said Michael had gone to the computer store to buy a new toner cartridge. Then his dad answered and said Michael and Lily had gone with their grandparents to go see the latest James Bond at the Dollar Cinema. Lucky ducks. Monday, January 5. Royal Daily Schedule. 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Breakfast with Royal Genovian Ballet Company. This is the first time I have ever seen Rene up before 10 a.m. 9:30 a.m. to noon. Attend ballet workshops, private performance of Sleeping Beauty. I don't know if Lily thinks is right about ballet being totally sexist. I mean, the guys have to wear tights too, which is actually too much information if you know what I mean. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Lunch with Genovian Minister of Tourism. Will no one acknowledge that my parking meter idea has merit? Furthermore, all the foot traffic from the day trippers coming off the cruise ships that dock out in the Genovian harbor is destroying some of our most historically important bridges, such as the Pont des Verges, Bridge of the Virgins, so named after my great-great-great-great-great-great-grandmother, Agnes, who threw herself off it rather than become a nun like her father wanted her to be. She was all right. The Royal Navy fished her out and she ended up eloping with the ship's captain, much to the consternation of the House of Ronaldo. I don't care how much of Genovia's gross national product is dependent on cruise ship day trippers. They are ruining everything. 2:30 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. Attend Father's address to local media on importance of Genovia as a global player in today's international economy. Whatever. Could I be more bored? Michael. Oh, Michael, where art thou, Michael? 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Tea with Grandmere and fellow members of Genovian Ladies' Aid Society. Spilled tea on new satin shoes that had been dyed to match tea gown. Now they match tea. 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. Formal dinner with very famous former Soviet leader and his wife. Rene through most of dinner. Was found after dessert cavorting in Palace Garden fountain with prima ballerina from Royal Genovian Ballet. Dad very upset. Tried to soothe his frazzled nerves by making small talk with his date, Miss Czech Republic, so she would feel welcome to the family should the occasion arise. 16 DSLSM. If this goes on much longer, I will probably develop aphasia like that girl in Firestarter and start thinking my dad is a hat. Tuesday, January 6. Royal Quarters of the Dowager Princess. He called me, except that I wasn't here, as usual. I was at the Royal Genovian Opera House watching stupid La Boheme, which I was enjoying until all the characters I liked died. He left a message with the palace operators. The message said, "Hi." Hi. Michael said hi. I tried to call him back, of course, the minute I got to a phone, but the Moscovites were all at Lee Crab Shack enjoying the senior citizen early bird discount. All except Dr. Moscovitz, Mrs., who had to stay back at the condo due to one of her patients needing emergency counseling, a shopaholic who was having a relapse due to all the post-holiday sales. Dr. Moscovitz said she would be sure to give Michael the message that I'd called him back. The message was, "Hi." Well, I wanted to say something more romantic, but it is really hard to say the word love to your boyfriend's mother, it turns out. Oh my god, Grandmere is yelling at me again. She has been lecturing me all day about this stupid ball that's coming up. My farewell for now ball. The one they're holding the night before I leave to go back to America and to my love. The thing is, Prince William is going to be at the ball, because he's going to be in Genovia anyway for the charity polo match my dad and Rene are playing in. And Grandmere is all worried I'm going to make the same kind of social gaffe in front of Prince Wales that I made during my televised introduction to the Genovian people. Like I am really going to stand there and talk about parking meters with Prince William, but whatever. I swear I do not know what is wrong with you, Grandmere is saying. Your head has been in the clouds ever since we left New York, even more so than usual. She is narrowing her eyes at me, always a very scary thing, because Grandmere had a black cohort tattooed all around her lids, so that she could spend her mornings shaving off her eyebrows and drawing new ones on rather than messing around with mascara and eyeliner. You are not thinking about that boy, are you? That boy is what Grandmere has started calling Michael, ever since I announced that he was my reason for living. Well, except for my cat, Fat Louie, of course. If you are speaking of Michael Moskowitz, I just replied to her in my most regal voice. I most certainly am. He is never far from my thoughts, because he is my heart's breath. Grandmare's response to this is a snort. Puppy love, she says. You will get over it soon enough. I beg your pardon, Grandmere, but I so fully will not. I have loved Michael for approximately 8 years, except perhaps for a brief 2-week period of time when I thought I was in love with Jost Reicher. 8 years is more than half my life. A deep and abiding passion such as this cannot be dismissed as easily as that, nor can it be defined by your pedestrian grasp of human emotion. I didn't say any of that, out loud, though, on account of how Grandmere has those really sharp nails that she tends to accidentally poke people with. Except that even though Michael really is my reason for living and my heart's breath, I don't think I'll be decorating my algebra notebook with hearts and flowers and circle Mrs. Michael Moskowitz's, the way Lana Wernberger decorated hers, only with Mrs. Josh Reicher's, of course. Not only because doing stuff like that is completely lame, and because I do not care to have my identity subjugated by taking my husband's name, but also because as consort to the Regent of Genovia, Michael will of course have to take my name, not Thermopolis Rinaldo, Michael Rinaldo. That looks kind of nice, now that I think about it. 13 more days until I see the lights of New York and Michael's dark brown eyes again. Please God, let me live that long. HRH, Michael Rinaldo. M. Rinaldo, Prince Consort. Michael Moskowitz Rinaldo of Genovia. 17 days since I last saw Michael. Wednesday, January 7th. All I have to say about today is that if these people want their infrastructure to be destroyed by gas-guzzling sports utility vehicles driven by German tourists, that is entirely their prerogative. Who am I to try to stand in their way? Oh, I'm sorry. Just their princess? 18 DSLSM. Thursday, January 8th. Royal Daily Schedule. 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Breakfast with Ambassador to Spain. Still no catch-up. 9:30 a.m. to noon. Final touch-ups to Royal Portrait. I am not allowed to see finished product until unveiling at farewell ball. Hope artist did not include large zit I have begun sprouting on chin. That could be kind of embarrassing. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Lunch with Genovian Minister of Finance. Finally, someone who agrees with me on fiscal importance of parking meters. Minister of Finance is the man. Sadly, Grandmere is still not convinced, and she, far more than Dad or Parliament, is the one with the most influence over public opinion. 2:30 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. More coaching on what is okay versus not okay to say to Prince William when I meet him. Example: I am very pleased to make your acquaintance. Okay. Has anyone ever told you that you look like Heath Ledger? Not okay. Rene strolled by in the middle of my coaching session on his way to the palace weight room and suggested that I ask Wills what really happened between him and Britney Spears. Grandmere says that if I do, she will leave Rommel in my care next time she goes to Baden-Baden to get a face peel. Ew. To both taking care of Rommel and the face peel, and to Rene too, for that matter. 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. Formal dinner with largest import-exporter of Genovian olive oil. Whatever. 19 DSLSM. Friday, January 9th, 3 a.m. Royal Genovian Bedchamber. This just occurred to me. When Michael said he loved me that night during the non-denominational winter dance, he might have meant love in the platonic sense, not love in the tides of flaming passion sense, like maybe he loves me like a friend. Only you don't generally stick your tongue in your friend's mouth, do you? Well, maybe here in Europe you might, but not in America, for God's sake. Except Josh Richter used tongue that time he kissed me in front of the school, and he was certainly never in love with me. This is very upsetting. Seriously. I realize it is the middle of the night, and I should be at least trying to sleep, since tomorrow I have to cut the ribbon at the new Royal Genovian Foundling Home. But how can I sleep when my boyfriend could be in Florida loving me as a friend and possibly at this very minute actually falling in love with Kate Bosworth? I mean, unlike me, Kate is actually good at something. Surfing. Kate belongs in gifted and talented, not me. Why am I so stupid? Why didn't I demand that Michael specify when he said he loved me? Why didn't I go, love me how? Like friend? Or like a life partner? I am such an idiot. I am never going to be able to sleep now. I mean, how can I? Knowing that the man I love could conceivably think of me only as a friend he likes to French kiss. There is just one thing I can do. I have to call the only person I know who might be able to tell me and help me. And it is okay to call her because 1. It is only 7 o'clock where she is, and 2. She got her own cell phone for Christmas, so even though right now she is skiing in Aspen, I can still reach her, even if she is on a sky lift or whatever. Thank God I have my own phone in my room, even though I do have to dial 9 to get a line outside of the palace. 20 DSLSM. Friday, January 9, 3:05 a.m. Royal Genovian Bedchamber. Tina answered on the very first ring. She totally wasn't on a ski lift. She sprained her ankle on a slope yesterday. Oh, thank you, God, for causing Tina to sprain her ankle, so that she could be there for me in my hour of need. And it is okay, because she says it only hurts when she moves. Tina was in her room at the ski lodge, watching the Lifetime movie channel, when I called. Co-ed call girl, in which Tori Spelling portrays a young woman struggling to pay for her college education with money earned working as an escort, based on a true story. At first, it was very difficult to get Tina to focus on the situation at hand. All she wanted to know about was what I'm going to say when I meet Prince William. I tried to explain to her that according to Grandmere, I am not allowed to say anything to Prince William beyond, "It is very nice to meet you." She is apparently fearful that I will launch into my treatise on parking meters, which she finds less than scintillating. Besides, what does it even matter what I say to him? My heart belongs to another. This response was extremely dissatisfying to Tina. "The least you can do," she said, "is get his email address for me. I mean, not everyone is in as an emotionally satisfying romantic relationship as you are, Mia." Ever since she started going out with him, Tina's boyfriend, Dave, has shied away from commitment, saying that a man can't let himself get tied down before the age of 16. So even though Tina claims Dave is her Romeo in cargo pants, she has been keeping her eyes open for a nice boy willing to make a commitment. Although I think Prince William is too old for her, I suggested she try for Will's little brother, Harry, who I hear is actually very cute as well. But Tina said then she'd never get to be queen. A sentiment I guess I can understand, although believe me, being royal loses a lot of its glamour once it actually happens to you. "Okay," I said, "I'll do my best to get Prince William's email address for you, but I have to do other things on my mind." Tina. Like, for instance, that there is a distinct possibility that Michael only likes me as a friend. What? Tina was shocked. But I thought you said he used the L word the night of the non-denominational winter dance. He did, I said. Only he didn't say he was in love with me. He just said he loved me. Fortunately, I didn't have to explain any further. Tina has read enough romance novels to know exactly what I was getting at. Guys don't say the word love unless they mean it, Mia, she said. I know. Dave never uses it with me. There was a throb of pain in her voice. Yes, I know, I said sympathetically. But the question is, how did Michael mean it? I mean, Tina, I've heard him say he loves his dog.